Good day, everybody. This is not an episode of the Talking Friars podcast or YouTube show, but this is just a reaction video. There are reports out that the Padres are expected to sign Robinson Cano, the former Met, Mariner, and Yankee, to a major league deal. The Mets designated Cano for assignment last week. He was released officially on Sunday. John Heyman is reporting that the 39-year-old former second baseman and first baseman and DH is expected to be a San Diego Padre. What is your reaction? Let me know in the comments below on this YouTube channel, the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show channel. I hope you subscribe. I'm your host, Ben Fadden, do daily pregame shows, post-game reaction videos, episodes after every series. I did want to just get to this reaction, though, about Cano. And for me, I don't really agree with some of the opinions out there already that I've seen on social media, right? About how Robinson Cano, there's no point in signing him. Why are they signing him? He's washed up and there's no fit for him. And I understand the washed up part and all that. But when you really think about it, the Padres right now, they don't have any bench middle infield options, right? I mean, they have Sergio Alcantara, right, who had a negative WAR this year. He has not played a full season ever yet. He bounced around with Detroit and Chicago, and now he was with the Diamondbacks before being claimed by the Padres off waivers. He has not played in a big game for the Padres yet. And so I guess it comes down to, until Fernando comes back, probably hopefully sometime in June, it comes down to who would you rather have? Would you rather have Robinson Cano as a bench option, who's probably a better power option off the bench uh, than Sergio Alcantara? Would you rather have Cano or Alcantara? And my answer would be Cano. And what I like about this is it would be only just a major league minimum deal. They don't have to pay like the $38-39 million remaining that the Mets do over the next 2 years. It's just this year, my major league minimum, what is it, like 770,000, whatever it is. So it doesn't hurt him that way. And it's not like when he gets signed, he is going to be in that role to help sell tickets or be this big bat, right? That shouldn't be the expectation for Cano if he does end up being a San Diego Padre. And there are reports that he's supposed to sign probably tomorrow. His role with the Padres here, if he is in that brown and gold uniform, would be to come off the bench. There's some talk out there about Cano being like a DH option. He could be, but I would still give that to Voit because I think he's a better hitter than Cano, where they are at right now. And then as it pertains with other positions, I think he could still go play second base or first base for a day or two off the bench. I don't think he only has to be a DH option. I know that that's the talk out there, right? Is that Cano is going to be a DH option for the Padres. But I think he can still play second base and can fill in there if needed in any situation for a couple days a week, a day a week, or a couple days every couple weeks. Like, that's going to be his role. He's not going to be starting every day. And what is this? It's a low-risk move, right? There's some people that are like, this is a typical A.J. Preller move, right? He's not developing the minor leaguers, so he's going and signing a Robinson Cano, or they can make that comparison with a Matt Beatty, right? You don't develop anyone, and instead you just go get a guy that was DFA'd by the Dodgers. And I understand that, but what are the other options out there, right? Would you rather have C.J. Abrams up here than Robinson Cano? My answer to that would be no, because while C.J. Abrams might be able to give you more in terms of speed, still being able to be a bench bat a little bit, defense, obviously, he is still very, very young. He's the number one prospect in the organization. Right now, what matters most is for him to be in the minor leagues, developing, getting everyday at-bats. And that's not what he's doing right now. That's not what he was doing, excuse me. He's getting everyday at-bats now. He homered, I think, last night in his first game in El Paso. And Cano, obviously, he doesn't need everyday at-bats. He's 39 years old. His career is pretty much over, but you're just using him, I would think, until Tatis gets back as a bench option, and that's just the way you go. A DH option, I'm not really sold on that. Could it be once a week or something as a DH? Sure. But if Voigt's not DHing, I think it's probably better to just give guys a day off. But then also you could say if you give guys a day off, then Cano's going to have to go play second. So if Voigt isn't DHing, then Cano, I guess, could DH. But I'm not closed off to the thought that Cano can't go play second base or go play first base for a little bit. I know that they have a ton of first basemen. They have Hosmer, Profar can play there, but I know he's in left, so that's not really an option. But they have Voigt, they have Nola, emergency, they have Cronenworth, they have Hosmer, but they have Cano now too. That could probably play it a little bit, and he can still play second base, I think, for a game or two if they need it. So my initial reaction to this was, okay, why are they doing this? But then, when you sit back on it and you don't just go and listen to other people's opinions and just formulate my own thoughts, what I'm thinking about is, why wouldn't you make this move? It's a minimum deal. Kevin Acee and Dennis Lin are reporting that it's not just because of his play, but for what he can do for other players in the clubhouse. And with Cano, like it's a low risk deal. You don't have to pay the $30 million for the next 2 years like the Mets do. You're paying him a major league minimum, and I would rather have him up here than Abrams right now. I would rather have him up here as a bench bat than Sergio Alcantara. And I think that's what it comes down to, because that's what Cano's going to be playing. We can go through his numbers. I know that he missed the 2021 season last year due to his second career PED suspension. And those PED suspensions, yeah, that's not a good look. But the Padres aren't signing him to play every day and signing him to be a Hall of Famer. That's not what they're doing here. They're doing it and signing him for probably a month or two until Tatis comes back, because when Tatis comes back, Kim's going to move into a bench role, and then there you have your middle infield bench option, someone that can still come off the bench as a hitter if you need it. And then you still have the rest of your bench with whether it's a Zokar in the outfield or Alfaro, right? You still have other options off the bench. So I think it's a short-term move here. He hit 195 so far this year with the Mets in 43 plate appearances. So the Mets, in that situation, they were like, yeah, we're going to get rid of him. Steve Cohen's our owner. He's our owner. He's worth billions and billions of dollars. All right, we can cut this contract. It's fine. We're trying to win here. Let's use a better player for that 26th roster spot, right? So I understand what the Mets were doing here, but for the Padres, it's not like they have an amazing bench middle infield option or another bat, right? They have a backup catcher, but you don't want to use him off the bench, because then if the starting catcher gets hurt, you have the pitcher hitting, right? So you don't want that. So that takes the catcher pretty much out of the DH role. And then after that, it's Voigt. That's your DH option. And now you can add Cano if they do end up making this deal happen. You add Cano as another DH option, and he can play second base. He can play first base. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think that because of Sergio Alcantara being that only other second base pretty much option off the bench, why not go sign Cano? See what happens. I don't think there's a whole lot to lose by signing Robinson Cano in this deal. I might be wrong. Give me your thoughts there in the comments. I'd love to hear them. The Padres right now, they're 20-12. We have an off day today. I encourage you to go listen to and watch the Kurt Bavacqua interview that I had, episode 160. And then yesterday's episode, Padres and the Cubs series, recap that, reaction to that, and a little bit of a preview of this Brave series coming up. And the road trip, which is pretty tough. Atlanta, Philly, and then San Francisco. And then they come home and play the Brewers. And then after the Pirates series, they play the Cardinals. And then the Brewers, and then the Cardinals again, I think. That's what the schedule looks like. So a pretty tough stretch. They went 10-5 on that 15-game stretch. That include Cleveland, Miami, Cincinnati, teams like that, Chicago, non-playoff teams. And now they're going to play better teams. Let's see how they do. And will Robinson Cano be there tomorrow against the Braves? It looks like it, but again, no deal is official. But this has been my reaction to the expected signing of Robinson Cano by the San Diego Padres. I am Ben Fadden, your host of the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Enjoy the off day, everyone.